Well, welcome back to those of you who have been following the series, either in person or by watching the replays, and a warm welcome if this is your very first time joining. This is Daily AI Prompts for Job Seekers, and I'm William Craig III, a professional career coach, also known as the Career Transition Guy. And I've got a clear mission for this series to help you move beyond overwhelm and into action. The fact is, people who put out these resources with hundreds and hundreds of AI prompts are well-meaning, but too many prompts can actually be paralyzing. So instead, I focused on giving you just one powerful, practical prompt each and every day. And my goal here is to help you run your job search or your job campaign with clarity, confidence, and strategy, using AI as your assistant and not your replacement. Oh my goodness. So glad to have you here. And by all means, I know we got some folks joining by YouTube on the Get Up and Get a Job channel. Welcome to you guys. You can also, let's see, put your comments in, and let's see, got a couple of folks. All right, got a couple of folks on LinkedIn as well. Great. Found out something new today that, and you are welcome. I found out something new today that with StreamYard, the platform that we use to stream these broadcasts live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, I can post, but you will not be able to see the posts on Facebook and LinkedIn. You will only be able to see the posts on YouTube. And so again, you can watch the replays at the LinkedIn profile, William W. Craig 3, or my YouTube channel, Get Up and Get a Job. But at the end, because I was wondering why people weren't getting the links to the sessions on the ChatGPT sessions. And so again, I reached out and found out. So at the end of today's stream, I'm going to put the link into the comments. And if you want the link, then you can go to YouTube. And by all means, please, please, please. Um, if I'm sorry. MC says, yes, I learned that and switched to YouTube. Thank you for bringing attention to this. Yeah. But, the thing is, here's the deal. While I was using Zoom, and Zoom allows you to use the chat, it's just, this is a much smoother platform to use. Just for those of you who are interested, that's one of the things I'll also be teaching. Is I'll be doing some classes on how to go live using StreamYard, if that's something you're interested in. And many of you should think about going live. You're subject matter experts. You've got years of experience doing things, and you should be letting your voice be heard. People should know who you are, what you do. And again, if that's something you're interested in, just let me know. And all right, Michael Castillo, I just hit me who MC was, but listen, let's get into today's prompt. So again, you want to watch the replays, you can go to my LinkedIn profile, or you can watch on YouTube at Get Up and Get a Job. All righty, and let's get into today's prompt. So I need to share the screen. And there we are. And I'm going to take myself out of the picture. Very cool. Yeah, I love the way I could do that. All righty. So as you all know, we have done, for those of you who've been following the series, or maybe you've gotten caught up with the replays, we have done so much for Miss Mary Mack, our pretend job candidate. We've uploaded her resume into ChatGPT, and Chat has been helping us do all sorts of things. The last thing we did was we talked about Mary's reconnection efforts. In other words, you need to be reconnecting with people, and in some cases, maybe it's been a while since you've connected with these people. I think in the example that we gave Chat, Mary had not connected with these people for more than 6 months. So again, this is something that you want to consider. And let's just move this out of the way. All right, great. And go back to my full screen view. All righty, so again, and it created this table. So we're going to do something similar. And today, our prompt is here: design a simple spreadsheet template to help Mary track job applications. Now, I'd love to know, and you can, for those of you who are able to put something in the chat. Now, in LinkedIn, you should be able to actually put something in the chat and have me see it. I'd love to know what you are using to track your efforts in your job campaign. All right, what are you using to track your efforts in your job campaign? Some people might be using Excel. Some people might be doing any number of things. Okay, email. All righty. Thanks for that. Anybody else using anything else to track your job applications? All righty. And the basically, yeah, the jobs you've applied for, but Excel combined with Gmail. Thanks for that, Donna. Okay, cool. Excel combined with Gmail. All righty. So here we're going to do, the reason why we brought this up is because I've talked to so many people, and they say, well, I've sent out a lot of resumes, or I've applied for a lot of jobs. And it's like, well, okay, how many is a lot? And let me just tell you, a lot is relative today, because to some people, 20 is a lot. I actually recently came across somebody, and they were talking about 20 was a lot. Okay. And then there are other people who have done like 200, and they say that's a lot. Now, I'm just going to tell you, hey, Nasha, thanks, Excel. But here we go. 200 is a lot. And so, again, this is one of the things that I would say is it brings about the subject of the power of working with a coach. Because let's just say you were a basketball player and you're going at the free throw line and you shot 200 shots, but only one went in. I would say you need a coach. Okay. You need somebody to help take a look at the mechanics of what you're doing and help you to understand how you might be able to position yourself better as you attempt those free throws. So the same is true with your job campaign or your job search. And no, I'm not just trying to sell you services, but at the same time, you want to get hired. I don't think most of you are submitting applications and submitting resumes just for the sake of doing it as here's something I do daily just to, get excited. Okay, we want to get some results, and although we do know that the job market has slowed down quite a bit, it is taking longer to get hired. At the same time, we do want to do all the things that we can, and there are so many things that should be done, and we've talked a little bit about that. So it's not just applying for jobs. There are several things that you need to be doing. So I appreciate your feedback. And so while some people may be using things like Excel, there may be others that are not as um, not as familiar. Certainly, that's something that you can do, but we're asking ChatGPT today to design a simple spreadsheet template to help Mary track job applications. And we said include columns for company, role, date applied, follow up date, and we'll come back to that, contact, status, and even notes. So let's see what ChatGPT has to say. And it is a thinking. Okay. And I'm using, as you can see, ChatGPT 4.0. Okay. And there are other models that may be a little quicker, but all right. So here we go. It has created a downloadable Excel spreadsheet. So let me say thanks, Chat. Please show Mary an image on the screen. Oops, got a fat finger mistake in there. Mary, let's get rid of that. All righty, please show Mary an image on the screen. An image of, that's what I was searching for, of your sheet on the screen. All righty, there we go. Booyah. And this should be helpful. Can chat configure the emails and numbers in the SS? Help me out with SS. Is that, just help me out with SS to make the call or open Outlook or whatever email program you use. So you can actually create, you can train, you can create your own GPT. Okay, so it's still not getting it. View Mary job application tracker preview PNG. So here, let me do this. And let's go. I'll save this in my pictures. Actually, I don't want to save it there. I'll save it in these pictures. And all righty. And boom. All right, so let me share. I'm going to stop sharing this and I will share the new screen. and bring it to the stage. There we are. All righty. So this is not real pretty. All right. So we've got Mary's job application tracker preview, company. And so we've got different companies here. We've got the role. We've got the date applied. We've got 717273, the follow-up date. And again, I'll come back to that. And then it looks like it had a little issue here with scrolling because there's something that overwrote here. And here's the contact information. What did she do? Did she apply? Did she interview or what? And then the notes. So, okay, so it did what I asked, but I'm not really excited about that. So let's get rid of that. And we're going to go back to chat. All right. And let's have chat try again. And what we'll do is this time we'll tell chat to, oops, this is great, but it seems there were some errors. Can you create a table here, oops, that Mary can see? All right, let's see if this does the trick for us today. Now, remember, we do have the downloaded Excel spreadsheet, which I didn't show you because, again, I'd have to download it and open it and didn't want to have to do that. I still did that with the PNG file. But, spreadsheet. Thank you, Michael. And numbers in the spreadsheet to make the call. Right. So Michael's basically asking, can I automate this whole process? And so, yes, you can automate the process. You can actually create, like I mentioned a moment ago, you can create your own GPT. You can create your own agent that can, given permission, actually, as Michael suggested, configure emails and actually go in, make, well, it's not going to make calls, but it can send. It can send emails on your behalf, and that can help to automate the whole process. So again, lesson for another day, but good thinking, Michael. Again, if you're going to use the technology, why not use the technology to its fullest, right? So, all righty, let's see here. The sample job application tracker layout that Chat has created for us looks like this. All right, this is what we want to see here. So we've got the company name, Unity Healthcare, the role, ARAP specialist. For those of you who are not familiar, Mary is accounts receivable, accounts payable professional, the date that she applied, when we're going to follow up, the contact name and email, or email, and then the status, and then the notes here. Waiting to hear back on this one. First round interview scheduled for July 10th, and then submitted via LinkedIn. Easy apply. All right, so that's very cool, and that's what we want to see. And certainly, again, we can copy this table, and we can pop it into a Word document, or we can pop it into an Excel file. But again, my point in doing it this way is because I've talked to people who are not as skilled in using Excel. And that's something that I want you to really think about, because Excel is such a robust tool. It can do so much. Oh my goodness. I'd love for you to upskill, right? Get your library card and go into LinkedIn Learning and learn more about how to use Excel spreadsheets. Because again, when I say there's so many different things that you can do, some of the things that you do in Word, you can do in Excel. And again, it offers you so many more features. Most people probably use less than 10% of the capabilities of Excel. And and I say this, many businesses, although a lot of folks who work in various categories don't use Excel, guess what? If you learned how to use Excel in what you do, even if you're not currently using it, it will help you in your current occupation for those of you who are still employed. And, because remember, I deal with folks who are unemployed, underemployed, or just unhappily employed. And the idea here is to help you get to that place, that opportunity that is best for you. So, all right, let's see what else it said. It says Mary can add more rows as needed and use this table to stay organized, track progress, and follow up professionally. Would you like this converted into a printable version or embedded into her existing tracker sheet? So those are good options, and certainly, again, to have a printable version that she can print out and then simply follow along can be very powerful. But here's the thing, you need to keep track. This is the essence of what we're sharing today. You need to keep track of your activities. And to the extent that we're talking about following up, let's deal with that, because I mentioned I'd come back to it a couple of times now. So Mary has reached out. She's waiting to hear back. She applied. Alrighty. Now let's just say, let's go here. I'm going to work backwards. Let's pretend that Mary has already had an interview. Now, when I coach, one of the things that I coach about is how to close that interview and get a commitment around when you should be looking to hear back from the interviewer. All right. That's very important. You don't want to be sitting by the dock of the bay watching the tides roll away, not knowing, what's going on. So you want to get some accountability from the folks or the person that you have interviewed with as to when they should be getting back to you. And there's a way to handle that. But also, let's just say, okay, you're in a situation where, you've been told to basically check in with the recruiter and now, or HR, and what do you do? So the first thing that you can do is, we've got a follow-up date here, and you'll see that this is exactly a week later. Now, I'm okay with a week later. Quite honestly, I'm more of a 3 to 5 day later type guy. And so I would say definitely within 3 to 5 days, you should be following up. And what should you be saying? So here, I've already taught chat a little bit about how to do this. So what are some of the things Mary can say? My fat finger a mistake all the time. Can say when following up over multiple I guess I want to say multiple days. No, I'll say following up multiple times. That's what I want to say. That's what I want. Following up multiple times. And then just to add, how can she keep conversation? Because this is an issue that people have. They don't know what to say. And it's not just about reaching out to saying, hi, I'm just calling to check on the status of my application. Hey, just calling to see when you guys are going to hire somebody. I haven't heard anything yet. All righty. All right. So what are some of the things Mary can say when following up multiple times? How can she keep the conversation going? All righty. So chat, show the people that I've taught you well here. And again, one of the things that I've done is I've taught chat some things. And all righty. So great question. When Mary follows up multiple times, the key is to stay gracious, confident, and conversational. Never, and hear this, never desperate, never pushy, never repetitive. And that's the essence of what we're sharing right now. She's not just checking in, she's re-engaging with purpose. And this is so important. It's not just about a generic check-in, as I was alluding to, right? Oh, just want to see where you guys are in your process. Oh, just wondering if you hired somebody because I haven't heard from you. No, it's not about that. Here we go. We're re-engaging with purpose and keeping the relationship alive. Here are 5 ways Mary can follow up naturally after each stage of communication to keep things moving. So, number one, a light reminder after 5 to 7 days. Hi, so and so. And you might be more formal. Hello, Mr. or Ms. So and so. Just wanted to follow up on my previous message in case it get buried. Totally understand how busy things get. I'm still very interested in the opportunity and would love to reconnect when you have a moment. All right, that's number one. Number two, reframe the ask after 1 or 2 weeks. Hi, I know schedules are packed this time of year. I'd still love to connect, whether it's a few minutes by phone or even a quick exchange by email. Let me know what's easiest on your end. So this is kind of open-ended. All righty. Add value instead of repeating the ask. Great. Hi, I came across this article. This is where I'm going here. This article, this resource, thought it might align with the work. And I wouldn't say your team, I would say the team. Okay. I'd even go as probably as far if I felt like I was really a contender, maybe I 2, 3 rounds into this and they're going to make a decision soon. I would say our team. All righty. But you could say the team is doing around whatever the topic is. Still looking forward to connecting whenever the time is right. This one is a great one because it shows that you're staying abreast of what's going on in the world as it relates to this particular job or the work that they do. And so, again, you want to enlighten them that you are enlightened. Okay. Let's see what else it has. Refresh the context. Hi, so and so. I originally reached out because I admire XYZ company's work and accounts payable, receivable. Would love to contribute using my experience in AR, AP, and operations. This isn't the right time or role. I completely understand, but I'd still appreciate the chance to stay in touch. So this one is basically allowing them the ability to bow out gracefully, if you will. Hey, you guys haven't gotten in touch with me, and maybe now is not the right time, or maybe this is in relation to someone that did an informational interview and they said they'll get back with you, what have you. Ask for direction if you suspect a no but want clarity. Hi, so and so. I really appreciate the time you've taken to review my outreach. If it turns out that there's not a fit right now, I completely respect that. Just wanted to confirm before I shift focus elsewhere. You're not the only fish in the sea. All right, company XYZ. And, if it's not going to work between us, that's okay. Just let me know. All right. Because I'm planning to move on anyway, but I'm giving you a chance to let me know. It says be human, be specific, be helpful, be patient. Actually, I want to go back to this one. Let's see here. Oops, I went too far. All right. So, yeah. I like number 3. What other things might Mary bring to their attention? Give me 3 examples. So, because at this point, we're coaching that you can follow up about 5 to 7 times within about 2 to 3 weeks, right? Because at this point, now let me say this. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to give a caveat. So at this point, it may not be happening, all right? But the caveat is this: life happens. Sometimes people get sick. Sometimes people go out on vacation. Sometimes budget money might be held up somewhere. Sometimes. A lot of things can happen. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to happen. But again, we want you to be engaging in a way that's not bothersome, right? You don't want to be a pest. You want to be a welcome guest, right? So I'm glad you liked number 3. It's a great way for Mary to follow up without nagging. I love, we're on the same page, me and Chad here, while showcasing her value and professional curiosity. Here are 3 more meaningful things Mary can bring to someone's attention and a follow-up message to keep the conversation warm and relevant. So Number one, a process tip or best strategy or best practice. I'm thinking ahead. Best practice she's used successfully. So hi, so and so. I recently documented a process I used to reduce unapplied payments by 80%. And I thought it might be helpful to share, especially for teams dealing with high volume transactions or system transactions or transitions, excuse me. Why this works? It positions Mary's as a solutions oriented professional and gives the recipient something practical to think about, even if they're not hiring. And let me say this, because I've seen this happen where a situation is such that one of our candidates, he said, the company wasn't hiring, but they were so impressed with him that they said, we think we might be able to create something for you. That's the kind of stuff. And I've actually had that happen to me once or twice in life where they created a position. All right. So you want to have that kind of impact that they say, well, wow, we hadn't thought about this, and you're bringing something to their attention that they realize they can use. But again, in the confines of the role perhaps that you were applying for, that's not something that they were going to utilize. Number two, a relevant industry headline or report. Saw a recent article on how ARAP departments are adapting to automation tools like NetSuite and Power BI. One of my daughters uses Power BI. Thought it might resonate with what your team is working on. Happy to share how I've worked with both. And why it works, Mary isn't just job hunting. Here we go. She's staying current and showing she's already thinking like a team member. And again, when I talk about the value, expressing the value that you bring, this is a great example of how to do that. All right, and there's one more here, a question that invites insight, not just a job. I've been exploring finance roles in purpose-driven organizations like, and I would name it like XYZ Corporation, and would love your perspective. What qualities do you look for when adding to your ops or finance team? Now, this would be a question that certainly you would be using in an interview. So we're going to pretend that here is something, this one is something that would be asked for an informational interview. Maybe you reached out to a leader, someone in a leadership role, and you're trying to connect with them and you want to spend 10 to 15 minutes to learn more about the company, et cetera. You could do this. But certainly if you haven't asked something like this in an actual interview, then no, I'm going to tell chat, no, this isn't something I want to use to follow up, because you should already know this. But why it works, it says it engages the contact as a mentor or advisor, not just a gatekeeper. People love to share what they know. All right. So good stuff. Good stuff. Let's get rid of chat and go back to me here. And let's see. It looks like there might be some more comments. No more comments. Look, I hope this series is bringing you value. Again, you can always check out the replays on my LinkedIn profile as well. You can as well, you can always go to the YouTube channel. All righty. It's called Get Up and Get a Job. And pretty soon we're going to be actually doing more recording. I've done several interviews, and we're going to do several more with HR leaders and hiring managers and recruiters. So we'll be bringing you some more information on that front. All right. Well, listen, thanks so much again for joining me. Our time is up. But it's always a pleasure. Come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Remember, for those of you who have been following along, we're doing 2 p.m. Eastern this week and next week. And then we'll go back to our regular 12 o'clock noon Eastern schedule. But again, everything should be listed on the LinkedIn page. And you should also be able to see those on YouTube as well. But look, in the meantime, in between time, stay safe in all you do. And again, thanks for joining. Bye for now.